Broadcasting from the Blanchardstown Centre, this is Phoenix FM.
This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, it's JB Jeremy Borash, and you are listening to Dara O'Connor.
Yo, what's going on? It's Leon Slater, and you are listening to Dara O'Connor on the Wrestling Rewind. You get me?
Welcome to the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling.
Hello folks, it is Tuesday here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. When you're listening to this, the Royal Rumble would have already happened. We don't know if AJ Styles has retired from WWE. We don't know who's run the Rumble, but we're the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling. Live when we're doing this, taped when you're listening to it, so that is how it is. My name is Dara O'Connor, and you are listening to us here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. I am not alone. I am joined by the one, the only, Mr. Christopher Fanning. Christopher, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's still cold in Texas, but we're loving it.
Well, we have had non-stop rain for the past 3 days, to the point that there's a town in Wexford called Enniscorthy, and they're now calling it Venice-Corty. One of my friends sent me a picture down there. I have a bunch of friends down in Wexford, and they're like, oh my God. So, you know, it's been a rough time for people, all joking aside, with the flooding, but holy heck, I hope the rain stops soon, or else we're going to have to start building an ark, because it's coming down in sheets. So, yeah, man, I'm right there with the weather, you know. At least you guys get the cold and the snow and stuff, but we don't get that. We just get rain. No snow
here. Nope.
Really?
We're by the water. We're by the Gulf
fair.
of the Gulf of America, Mexico, whatever you want to call it now. And yeah, we don't get the snow, unfortunately.
Well, it's funny. That's why we don't have. That's why Ireland isn't like Iceland. It's because of the Gulf Stream. That just cuts right through our water and gives us the balance that actually just makes it rain all the time. So if that didn't exist, we'd be like Iceland, which I would prefer. I'd prefer to be in the snow and the cold all the time than the rain. I'm not a huge fan of the cold. I will be very honest. But look, WWE was hit by that. They had a couple of replacements this week as well. It wasn't like a talent. It was more just like the commentary team. I think we're hitting some backstage reviewers as well. So we make do. It was great to see SmackDown last week from the home of the Maple Leafs. I'm like, oh, I know that arena, because you know, as a hockey fan. But that was fun. And Raw had some pretty decent moments in Toronto, but we'll get through that. Obviously, Saturday's main event is kind of like the meat and potatoes here, and then of course the Royal Rumble, which we can only preview. So I'll get this up on the website so you guys have it before the show happens. But when it does go out in Phoenix, it will have already happened. And yeah, then we're hopping in the time machine to talk about Royal Rumble 2007. So Christopher, let's go back a little bit and talk about SmackDown. So obviously this was a homecoming show for Sami Zayn. I'm not a huge fan of Sami Zayn, but as we talked, you know, we knew he was going to get the rub for Saturday night's main event. But was there anything that struck you from this show? Obviously the Wyatt Six are having their feud with MFT, so it's kind of like back and forth between those two. But it really was the Sami Zayn show.
Yeah, it really was, and I know we had talked that on my podcast about Sami Zayn, you know, being in his hometown, and of course we have the Fatal 4-Way coming up for the number one contender for Drew, and it's just the Sami Zayn show. It's all it was, you know. And I don't know why, but I'm kind of conflicted with the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six. I mean, they keep trading the belts back and forth. It's like, come on, guys, pick one. I'm over the Temu bloodline. They need to do something more drastic. They're just kind of there.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it was even worse on Raw. Not to jump ahead, but just having Temu. Okay, so you have the Temu bloodline on one, and then you have Sheen bloodline on the other. You know, where it's like, come on, either be unique or drop this angle, because like I don't know, I can't take it seriously, because you're like, all right, this is a Roman Reigns gimmick. It's, you know what this feels like, and this might be lost, but um, it's kind of like, remember when China was walking around with Triple H's like entrance and his whole shtick when she broke away from him
Yeah.
in 1999. That's kind of what it feels like. It's like, oh, I'm wearing my older brother's gear, you know, and it's just like, you know, I think this, like, don't get me wrong, the matches are pretty good going back to MFT. Like, I Tamatonga is actually pretty good. I'm over Soa Sokoa, like I really am.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't good as a solo star. He's kind of lost in the tag team division. I'd be happy enough for him to be, you know, cut and go to AEW, because that seemed to, like, Ciampa went during this week, which was, you know, good luck to him. But yeah, I would be happy enough for him to not be on WWE, because I think we've seen everything we possibly can. Like, he's not even over in the same way like Jey Uso's over. Jey Uso, you know, he has the yeet thing and that's about it, but that's enough to get him over. I don't think Solo has that. Like, I've got to see him wrestle a bunch. I saw him challenge for the title in the cage match, and even with a gimmick and so in there with a dab hand like Cody, it's still that's a very rare time I would give Cody credit when he's doing this gimmick. But you know, he's able to structure a match, and it's boring, you know. Tamatonga, I think, has a much more of an upside, but they have to get him away from this bloodline thing, because it just looks cheap. It just makes you want to change the channel, you know. So yeah, 100% agree. But here's the thing. Here's how they can change it up, right? We are in a holding pattern now. We're just about to go to the Road to WrestleMania, right? So what'll probably happen here is Royal Rumble will obviously happen, and then they'll start throwing something together now for WrestleMania, and we might see something with a bit more meat on it. And obviously the Wyatt Six will probably get the belts back, but they do have to start looking at different teams. I don't know why the Guns aren't in contention as much as he should be, but you know, they're gonna build up some kind of ladder match or some kind of gimmick match. So I'm not willing to throw it out completely, but yeah, I'm right there with you, man. The sooner WWE gets over the bloodline, the better it'll be. I mean, even Roman Reigns is over the bloodline. You know, he's like, I don't even need this anymore. So,
and even
just
Fatu is broken away, and look how over he is with the crowd now.
Absolutely. It's a great entrance in, and it was a great moment, but I think the longer it happens, the more it holds them back. You know, I don't want to go as far and say that it's the B squad of NWO in WCW, but it really just feels like, oh, we've done this. This is lame, you know.
Yeah.
And look, it could be it's a creative issue. WWE are struggling with creative. I know they got I don't know if you watched WWE Unreal.
I did.
Do you watch the show? You watch bits of it? Yeah, bits of it. Oh, yeah, I don't watch it that much, but I watch bits and pieces of it. And yeah, obviously the Road Dogg segment this week was everywhere. And if that's how WWE creative meetings are all the time, you can kind of see why some of it's not great. So something has to change there for real, you know. Particularly, bad creative is one thing, but putting bad creative on television is a whole other thing. They're so tone deaf, you know. It's like, hey, look, yeah, we're struggling. Let's show the whole world how much we're struggling. Crazy. But look, after that, we went to Toronto to Monday Night Raw, which was a much better show. I actually watched the show live, and even though it was a good show and it does zip along, it still was kind of a tale of two segments. What did you think about this, Christopher? Are you in the same boat?
Yeah, pretty much. I was expecting a lot more fireworks, especially with a week away from the Rumble. And I will say that the pomp and circumstance for this year's Rumble has been very, very minimal. Like, I'm not as excited for the Rumble this year as I was in previous years. And for me, it was either about Finn Balor or the women's championship between Raquel and Stephanie Vaquer. That's pretty much the only takeaway I got from that, was those two storylines going forward.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where I think they were hesitant to push it until the arena was built, and that's another thing. Really, you know, we've only seen the arena now in the past 2 days, right? Because they only finished it literally 2 days ago. So
Yeah.
I think they were. Now again, I have no sources on this. I tell you guys when I have sources. WWE aren't really great with giving out sources, but what it looked like to me is that WWE were like, we'll have a backup plan if this thing completely fails and they can't get this arena built. So let's just kind of play it by ear and see what happens. And then all of a sudden they just show the arena and it's done. It's just like, wow, okay, that's insanely impressive that they were able to get it up in about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I don't even think it's that long. But today, as in Friday, it's been all hype. They've been doing press conferences. They've been doing showing the arena, having superstars come out, really doing the pomp and ceremony. So I do think that's why they were like, we literally cannot show a patch of dirt in the desert. That's all they had. It was either that or show AI. And I don't particularly think people would have been even more upset if they had it done that than just saying, here's a patch of dirt where they're going to build the arena.
Yeah.
And we're not making light of this, folks. Like, it was literally a patch of dirt, and then they built an entire arena. So you have to hand it to them. It genuinely is impressive, but I do think that's why. And also, again, they genuinely don't know how this is going to go. It's the first time the Rumble has been done at a different time. Like, I was looking up when the Rumble is, and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be. No, it's at like 7 p.m. my time. So I think that's like, what, 2 p.m. your time?
1, 2
Or
o'clock,
2 p.m.
something like that. Yeah,
1,
something
2
like that.
o'clock, yeah. Yeah, so it's just like, I think that's the first time that's ever been done as well. So this seems like a teething issue for WWE, but yeah, I don't really blame. I'll give them a pass because when the arena literally doesn't exist, there's only so many times they can show the Riyadh skyline and be like, the Rumble's coming, we have nothing to show you. So, maybe next year or whatever, that if they do this again, they'll have that. And obviously for WrestleMania, that stadium, is it the same stadium they're using for WrestleMania? Is that like the WWE stadium now?
I guess it is because I haven't heard anything about that, but you would have thought they would have built it a lot over time because they knew a year out that it was going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they literally built this. It was a patch of dirt up until like 3 weeks ago. So, like, the time lapse really is incredible when you see it, how fast they're able to put. Now, again, the pragmatist in me is like, how safe is that? Like,
That's my first thought too, actually.
yeah, corners were cut somewhere, so this really could be a disaster. But then again, it could be incredible. We just don't know. So there is like, I will be watching the show on Saturday with a lot of intent to be like, right, let's see what actually happens here. Because, like, they're playing with fire quite literally as well, because lots of fireworks and stuff. So
Yep.
we'll just have to see. But yeah, so look, the real talking point for Raw, for me, was the AJ Styles CM Punk main event. Now, they built it up in commentary quite well. It's the first time that AJ and Punk had faced each other. I know they're in a tag team match, but that was it. Like, they hadn't really interacted with each other at all in WWE. Now, that's in WWE, but people might not know that in TNA, they actually, like, they didn't come in together, but they were rookies at the same time. They had a couple of good matches. You can find them. TNA were all over it. They have pumped out so much CM Punk content in the past couple of years, but that match went up this week. And obviously they were in Ring of Honor, and they did a bunch of other indies around the US and the world. So they are very, very familiar with each other. But when that was said, I was like, yeah, AJ and Punk have not been on the main stage with each other before. And that was weird. And then I'm like, oh yeah, of course, because AJ was still in TNA when Punk left, and they just missed each other in WWE. So it's a dream match that I didn't even know I wanted. So once I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm staying up to watch this no matter what it is. And the match itself, yeah, no, honestly, I was like, I'm not missing this match, right? Because I'm like, AJ could win this, and I was still sitting on the fence where I was like, oh, they're not going to retire AJ. We will get it. We will put a pin in that. We will put a pin in that. But I was still on the fence. I was like, oh, and then when they had the match, I was just like, okay, I've changed my opinion a little bit, but we'll get into that later on in the show. So I was watching the show. I was watching it. And I'm like, right, I really want to see this match. So the match itself, very, very good. Punk, I have to say, I know I'm a huge CM Punk fan. I really am. But I don't mean to be biased here. So take this whatever way you want. But the title defenses he's had every week have been absolutely fantastic.
And I hope Jade Gargill's taking notes because that's how you do it.
Yeah, yeah. Like showing up, defending the match, and not just like in really, really good PLE quality matches that actually make you want to watch Raw. It's weird to sit here and go, Raw's the better wrestling show now, because it hasn't been for many, many years. And definitely Punk is in there to work. So, I don't want to go to bed when I watch Raw. I'm like, no, I want to sit here and watch it. So, I can't, I don't know how much that's going to be sustainable, but definitely I wasn't missing this week. But unfortunately, the match was cut short by DQ. We had Finn Balor run out earlier on the night. Finn was like, Punk went up to Finn and said, look, great job, blah, blah, blah. But, have a think about your future. Finn runs out, beats the two of them up, and then just delivers a series of coup de grace to Punk. Now, we said before we went on air that we were, saying, oh, Finn's going to be a face. I still think he might be, right? So go with me here for a second, right? Finn Balor isn't, like, we've seen him as a face, pure face, and it didn't really work. We saw him as a heel, and it doesn't really work. I think we're seeing a Finn Balor anti-hero here, where he's in it for himself, but he's not being heelish. Like, Punk isn't really a face either. Punk is just Punk, Like, if you want to see CM Punk as a face, you look back into 2007, or God forbid, you look into CM Punk when he went into AEW. I used to call him Walmart Greeter Phil, because he was like, honestly, like, I'm so happy to be here. Everything's so great, so wonderful. But that's not CM Punk. CM Punk is surly, and he's just a great wrestler. But if you cross him, that's it, right? And that's who he is, right? I like, obviously being involved with the comic nerd industry here in Dublin, CM Punk, right? Yeah, you know people who know CM Punk, and you know how he is. And he is the nicest guy in the world until he's not. Until you cross him, and then that's it, right? And I have that on good authority. Which is great, because that's the way he is on TV as well, and that's the way he is as a world champion, and that you can get behind that. So I like the shades of grey with CM Punk. I think Finn can do the same thing, because here's the thing, like, yeah, he's annoyed. He lost in his hometown. I'd be upset too, right? It's like, I did everything I possibly could. So, it's a bit bad sportsmanship. I'll give you that. That's fair. But I still think it fits inside the Finn Balor character. And then we had a lot of stuff from the WWE NXT side of things, where they're showing Finn Balor in NXT. They're showing the return of the Demon. They are doing an awful lot of things to get this over. Look, I'm not going to fantasy book this, but just the way the tea leaves are looking here, with Finn Balor doing what he's doing, it's very possible that you'll have a rematch with Punk where the Demon comes out, where he's like, I'm so annoyed that I can't beat you. Here we go. Right? And in that way, you don't have face versus face. Punk can wrestle as a heel, Balor can wrestle as a heel, but both, it's this in between. And I think that's the sweet spot for the two of them, because look, I don't want to see a face Finn ever again. That's atrocious. I don't really want to see a face Punk ever again, who's purely like that, because that is atrocious. Go back and watch his AEW run at the beginning. You will hate it. I guarantee you, folks. Yeah. So I don't think he's being a heel, man. I think he's just being this road to the Demon.
Yeah, I agree. And, I saw a little bit of that AEW CM Punk babyface run, and I was like, this is not CM Punk. Yeah. This is not what I remember. Yeah. Like, maybe he's been gone so long he forgot how to act, and it progressed and it progressed. And of course, all the drama that happened backstage with different people. I was like, okay, there's the real Punk there.
There's the real Punk there. Yeah. Like, a former co-host of the show, and even one of the lads I'm in the band with, one of the lads I'm in the band with loved CM Punk, when he came into AEW, because he only started watching wrestling from that point, right? And I was like, oh, you don't know who CM Punk is. And also, a former co-host of the show was the same. He was like, oh, Punk. I'm like, that's not the real CM Punk. And then, as you said, when he started being Punk, when he started all the stuff backstage and the brawl out and stuff, I'm like, no, that's CM Punk. That's what you want, right? That's who he actually is, and that's how you get the best out of him. Now, look, this is not going to be a bash AEW podcast, but actually didn't understand what they had, and he didn't understand how to use them. WWE actually do, and it is funny because he has I think they call it a morality clause in his contract where he has to be good, but at the same time, it's like you could still use that frustration in your angles because that's what Punk's always done, right? But at the same time, it's like it's a mature version of it where he is frustrated with like Seth Rollins and stuff, and it comes out. But it's for the story. It's so they can all make money and so they can do business. So I do love this. Like Punk came out on his first night. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
Yep.
That's not a baby face.
No, it's not. Not even a little bit.
It's not. No, and he never walked it back. He was never like, "Oh, I was only messing." He says, "Yeah, I'm happy to be here," because he is. You can totally see it. But at the same time, he's like, "I'm the world champion and I'm here to make money." And then Finn's also like, "I want to win that belt." It's just cool. It's just cool factor that WWE have. Now, whether they realize it or not, that's the real question. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because Punk's going to do what he wants. Finn Balor's talented enough to do what he wants as well. They're both on Triple H's good side, and they are being given enough room to cook here. So, again, I can see this going, maybe not all the way to WrestleMania, but definitely, it actually could go to WrestleMania, but definitely you will see the Demon probably by SummerSlam at the very latest, because that's in the cards for sure. Speaking of something else in the cards, though, right? And we are going to change gear here a little bit. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. So I'm going to ask you outright, Christopher. Have you seen much of New Japan or the Bullet Club?
A little, not enough to say that I'm an expert, but enough to know what people. I could hold a conversation with it if I needed to.
Okay, have you seen the Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles match from Wrestle Kingdom 10?
I did not.
Okay, so
I've heard good things.
Oh yeah, well, if you saw the match at Saturday Night's Main Event, you've kind of seen the match from Wrestle Kingdom 10.
Okay,
they did a tribute to that match, and that's what was so cool about. And this is why I'm actually, frankly, quite terrified about Saturday, because I didn't realize what they were doing until I saw this match. So obviously, look, Shinsuke Nakamura was the John Cena of New Japan, right? He was their biggest star, John Cena level, the guy who built New Japan for a great many people, right? When you thought about New Japan, you thought about Shinsuke Nakamura, right? AJ was over there with the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club were a group of foreign gaijin who broke all the rules, who were super rude, who didn't care about honor, who went off and won at any cause. That's what they were, right? They banded together and ran roughshod through New Japan. Big feud that went up at Wrestle Kingdom 10. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the leader of the Bullet Club, versus the face of New Japan, right? The match is absolutely incredible, right? If you haven't seen it, you can find it pretty easily. I think you can actually buy it. It's on New Japan's website as well, but you can find it at no great expense. And people have actually done some cool cuts of the match from New Japan and the one we saw on Saturday Night's Main Event. And it is very much like they recall spots. They redo. Like the match starts off with AJ doing the Bullet Club thing and him catching the bullet and eating it.
Oh wow!
That's how they started the match in New Japan. So they were very, very clear about why this happened. Like Shinsuke Nakamura hasn't really been used by WWE well, but this was very much like AJ was like, "Look, I want to have this match," and they're like, "Okay, go have the match." Now it's incredible. It's a really, really good match. It's not AJ's best because that list is very long, but it is very good. It's one of the best uses of Saturday Night's Main Event I've seen. However, because of that, it really, really looks like we've been seeing AJ's retirement tour the whole time.
Yeah.
And it didn't click with me until I saw this week. I'm like, wait, he had his match with Punk that he never had. He's literally redone one of his biggest matches that he never got to do in WWE. Oh, we are really looking at a potential retirement here. And he also said his WWE career is on the line. So I don't know about you, Chris. I'm not going to poison the well here. I'm not going to bias you. Based on what I've said and what you've seen, what do you think is going to happen with this AJ Styles thing?
Well, I want to add a couple of little nuggets of information that I've seen in the past couple of days. Is that Styles has actually refiled his claim for his patent for his name, the logo and his name. Okay, whatever. But his contract with WWE expires in February. It's done. He's
done.
And he's not re-signing, obviously.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that, like Cena did, that AJ is going to go out on his own terms at the Rumble against Gunther. I think his run is over. There's been speculation of him going back to TNA for one final run in TNA.
I can see that.
Which is why he renewed the patents that he had. He could keep it when he goes back over, which would make sense. Everything lines up perfectly. But again, I don't believe everything I see on the internet. Not everything. Some things.
Here's a few things, right? He has shown up in TNA twice recently, which is a very weird thing to do if you're not going to go back. He set up an angle with their current world champion, Satana. Literally like when he was there last. So I can see him going, I can see like losing this match. And again, it based on the run that he had, he's completed everything he wanted to do in WWE. Wrapped it all up nicely, puts Gunther over as a career ender, right? 2 legitimate stars and Goldberg. And everybody benefits from this. AJ can go over, have one final run in TNA, probably win the world title, and be like, right, I've done everything I wanted to do, or make Santana like the biggest star because he beat AJ Styles. That makes the most sense. Now, what doesn't make sense, and again, folks, look, not to talk down to anybody, but if you believe he's going to AEW, you need your head examined. That's not happening. There's no way that's happening, right? It's just not. And the reason why is like AJ does that, he poisons his relationship with WWE. He's not going to do that. It means he won't be able to go back to TNA. Doesn't want to do that either. I'm sure that Tony would probably love that, but at the same time, his body's breaking down. The reason why he's retiring is because he can't do a lot of the stuff that he was able to do. He can't do the spiral tap, which I don't know, Christopher, have you seen the spiral tap?
I have not.
It's a spinning 450 splash from the top rope. It's incredible. As I said, his TNA run is where you see the phenomenal AJ Styles. His WWE run is incredible, but the phenomenal AJ Styles was in TNA. So yeah, I've watched a couple of interviews with him, and he's like, look, I can't do a lot of stuff I wanted to do. I'm getting older, blah, blah, blah. He wants to go out on his own terms. And to me, it really seems like the guy who built TNA wants to finish in TNA. So I would not be shocked if WWE were like, look, your contract's finished up. You can have these patents, but still work in, and that's the only thing that makes sense. I can't see him going, I'm going to flush all this down the toilet to go to AEW for a payday, which he's already getting a lot of big paydays from WWE and from TNA. So it's just silly. No one's put together a good argument as to why AJ Styles would go to AEW. I just can't see it. Look, if this had been 10 years ago, more than likely, right? But it's not 10 years ago. It's now.
And even then, you've got some old or some previous AEW talent that's in WWE. They're probably going, no, don't do it. You got Jay Cargill. You've got, you had Andrade there for a minute. And of course, you got CM Punk, who are probably like, don't do it. It's not worth it.
But that's actually a really good point I didn't even think of. He is really good friends with Punk, and Punk's like, no, why do you think I left?
Yep.
That's actually that's a fantastic point. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, you're right. The guy who he's literally friends with is like, no, don't do it, So it just doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is Gunther beats him. I hope it's not with a tap out. I hope he actually does just get the pinfall on him, because that tap out thing is.
They're gonna make him tap. They're gonna make him tap.
It's not how I want to see it.
I mean, I don't want to see that either. But long-term storytelling, he made Cena tap out. He made the GOAT, the Never Seen 17 tap out, and then you're gonna get the phenomenal one to tap out. That will solidify the career ender legacy he's trying to build. He's got his third Infinity Stone. He's put on his gauntlet. He's ready to go for 3 more.
Yeah. No, that look, that's a wise call. I just don't want to see it. My
Oh, I
heart's
know.
not ready for it. My heart's not ready for it. Um, but at the same time, if it does open up to AJ showing up on TNA would just be it'd be unbelievable. Like again, he's been there twice already, and it's very weird for a WWE guy to show up twice on TNA for no reason.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make that much sense. It seems like the RTs that now look. I know people are like, but what about the NXT guys to go over? That's very different. NXT and TNA, they have that loose barrier where they go back and forward all the time. But I do hear you. Okay. Speaking of which, let's do it. Raw Rumble 2026 from Riyadh. Again, I'm actually delighted that this is on at like 7 p.m. because it'll be over at 11 and then it'll be grand. It won't be up all night kind of thing. Let's start from the top. Undisputed WWE title. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Who have you got?
I wasn't happy that Sammy won that Fatal 4-Way. I'll be honest. I was hoping it, but I understand why they did it. We will not go into that, but I understand why they did it. But Drew just got that title. And the past couple, the couple times he's had it before, something has happened where he didn't have it for very long. I think this is the first time he'll have it more than a month. So, I'm picking Drew to win this. I just don't, and there is no world I see, any multiverse world, where Sammy goes over Drew. Zero. He's just so much bigger. He's more athletic. He's just a beast.
Yeah.
And Sammy's just there.
Yeah, no, that's true. This would be a Sami Zayn match. And if you like a Sami Zayn match, that's great. You'll get that.
Yeah.
But that's all you'll get. You won't get anything that's for me, I just want that to be quick because then we can get on to what we're all there for.
Yeah.
I agree. Drew McIntyre is going over. He's carrying that belt probably into Mania. Who takes it off him then? We don't know. We'll have to see. But I don't think they didn't just give it to him so he can give it to Sami Zayn. I don't think Zayn will probably ever hold that belt. I think that's come and gone. Yeah, it's a safe pick with Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
So, obviously, we talked about it, AJ and Gunther. I think we're both going with Gunther on that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, obviously, if AJ loses, his career is over in WWE. Then we have the Women's Rumble. This is a tough one for me because there are a couple of women who could pop out. People are saying Liv Morgan. That's probably a safe pick. But also Bianca Belair could return.
That's where my thought was too.
Yeah, it's like I'd like to see her Rhea win, but she doesn't really need it.
No.
Liv could do with the push, and obviously Bianca needs that bit of a rub after returning. So I think it could be either one of those two.
I think just because if Bianca wins it, she's going straight for Jade. 100%. She's going
absolutely.
after Jade. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
There was another woman in that match that I had, and I like, ooh, they could win, and I totally forgot who it was. Hopefully it'll come to me before we finish the show. But there was another female.
Tiffany Stratton.
No, not Tiffany. Oh, apparently Nikki Bella will be there. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody wants that. Yeah.
I'm hoping she breaks Santino Morella's record, or she has the women's record for the quickest throwout.
Yeah.
But I will say that this women's match will be stacked.
Yeah,
it is going to be full of all kinds of talent, and I'm actually looking just as forward to the women's than I am the men's, which is weird. But
dude, that's kind of the way that's been for me for a while. The Women's Rumble has been the better one for a couple of years now, which is great to say in one way. Another way, though, it's very weird because you're like, wow, okay, we've come full circle. But that just shows you how good the talent is in WWE, where they're able to like the Rumble is probably a tough match to put together, right?
Oh yeah.
But the women are just leagues above a lot of the lads in WWE right now. Speaking of which, the next match is obviously the Men's Rumble. I have grave trepidation about this one.
Mm-hmm. So do I.
What before I say why I have trepidation? What's your one?
I'm hoping that it's not Roman Reigns. That's it.
Oh, please God, no. Like,
My brother was like, bro, if Roman Reigns wins, I will never watch wrestling again. I'm like, bro, don't do that.
that's a bit much. That's a bit. I hear him and I understand it, but that's a bit much. It's just like, look, you have to ask yourself who benefits from Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, because that means Cody Rhodes will win, right? And it'll be Cody and Drew. It'll be Cody and Reigns again. Nobody wants to see that.
No,
Nobody wants to see that. It was funny actually on SmackDown. It was either on SmackDown or it was no, it was one of the press conferences this week today. Cody came out and he was like, I'm your champion, blah blah blah. Oh, sorry, it was on SmackDown last week. He goes, I'm your champion. Everyone booed. You know, and today Jey Uso was like, yeet. And everyone's like, yeet. And he goes, I might win the Rumble again this year. And everyone booed him.
Those are the three men you just mentioned. Are the three I hope don't win: Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same.
And two of the three of them are going to be promoting Street Fighter in a couple of months.
That's true too. So yeah,
why put a title on them on WrestleMania when they're going to be gone a month later?
See, and also it doesn't. Neither of them need it. I mean, Jey Uso needs a lot of things, but a Rumble win is not one of them.
He's already got that.
Yeah, he got that and nearly killed himself in the process with that suicide dive. So no. The further he stays away from his brother, the closer he stays to his brother, the better.
Oh, yeah.
But look, with Roman winning, if Roman wins it, everybody's going to boo it. It's going to be, what's it, 2015 all over again?
Yep.
Where they wheel out The Rock and everybody boos The Rock as well. I remember watching that and I was just like,
I do too.
That was crazy. That was the first time The Rock, like the modern Rock, got booed by the WWE audience, So that's one of the silliest things they could do is that you have to ask yourself, are WWE just going to not care? But I think if they're smart, and again, look, I don't know, it could be a case of my heart picking this. Braun Breaker's your better pick, to build something around. And even Gunther. Imagine Gunther retiring AJ and winning the Rumble. That's a monster.
Yeah, I could see both of those, but the pick that I have that I will be posting later today, probably after SmackDown goes off the air, is a man that people have forgotten about because we haven't seen him on TV in a minute.
Who?
It's LA Knight. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I want LA Knight to be a huge star. He should be. WWE just don't like him, and I don't understand why.
I mean, if he wins the Rumble, him and Punk have a history.
Yeah,
as short as it is, they have a history, and I think that would be a great match between those two men. And I think that would be when Punk gets the actual main event. I'm sorry, last year was not the main event. That was the night one of the thing. Mm-hmm. CM Punk gets the main event he deserves, and he drops the title to LA Knight.
So I'm going to get you to lock it in.
Oh, it's locked in. Oh, yeah.
LA Knight. Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Roman Reigns.
Ugh.
As disgusting as that is. But I hope it's Gunther or I hope it's Gunther or literally anyone else, to be fair. But Braun Breaker would be your better choice. But it's probably going to be Roman Reigns.
If Finn Balor didn't talk to Adam Pearce on Raw and was told that the Rumble was full, Finn Balor would have been my front runner too.
Well, see, here's the other side of it, right? That hasn't stopped people in the past.
That is true.
He could just attack someone and enter the Rumble.
Becky did it the year she won it.
Yeah, Becky did it. Look, there's precedent for this. Brock Lesnar has done it.
Yes, he has.
So that is another possibility, and I didn't factor that out. Like, Finn could just be the gun going in anyway and just attack anyone else. Like, pick someone. He just attacks them, and that's it. Runs out, enters it. So that's a dark horse ending that could happen, and that would set the whole place on fire because that's a great story. WWE, if by some miracle you have some creativity, please do that. That's a phenomenal idea. But It's like we used to say when John Cena would show out, you don't bet against John Cena. So
No.
Roman Reigns is there, you don't bet against Roman Reigns. Unfortunately.
But he had a
who knows?
4-year run. I'm so done with him being the champion. He had his time. Let somebody else have it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, as I said, anybody but Roman Reigns. But if I had to put money on it, I just can't bet against them. It's WWE, you know how they are.
It's true.
So look, speaking of which, with the time we got left, we're jumping back in the time machine to 2007. And I apologize, folks, because I picked a bit of a stinker. But I want to set the table real quick, right? So this show was an interesting time, and I actually forgot about how weird this time in WWE was. I know this is during your break, Christopher. But this is when ECW had come back as a full-time brand. So ECW was on Sci-Fi in 2006 and 2007. They had just come off one of the worst pay-per-views of all time, December to Dismember, and it actually is that bad if you go back and watch it. We have covered it in the past. I'll link it in the description below. It is just really that bad. Had some pretty good matches. Kind of feels like this pay-per-view where I had 1 or 2 good matches and the rest of it were really bad. So that's what they're coming off. Paul Heyman actually got fired, which he's not on this show. And it led to a lot of weird stuff after that one. But there's still like the remnants of ECW, and they call them extremists, which is terrible. It's a terrible name. But like, we have Raw and SmackDown superstars and ECW extremists. You're like, oh god,
that just sounds horrible.
It sounds awful. And like when they said it on the commentary in this show, I was like, yeah, it still sounds stupid even.
Yeah.
Like 20 years later. it's so dumb. But yeah, so look, this really was a tale of 2 matches. Now, don't get me wrong, the opening tag team match was fantastic. Now, if you're probably wondering why Joey Mercury's face is wearing that mask, that's from a ladder. Now, they did talk about it on the show, but that's from a ladder match, which is actually a really, really good ladder match, Christopher, and anyone listening who hasn't seen it. Go back and watch Armageddon 2006. That is a phenomenal ladder match. Eminem reunited for one night. The Hardys reunited for one night. And I bet Joey Mercury wishes he didn't, because he took a ladder straight to the nose and it just oozes blood.
The video package actually showed from numerous angles. I was like, oh, and they freeze frame it on there, and his eye was already swelling up, and he's just bleeding everywhere. I'm like, dude, he looks busted up. Wow.
Yeah. But when you're watching, like, the video package is one thing, but the match, he's out there the whole time, and the place is just covered in blood. And it's a great match, but you know, when you go back and watch it in context, you're like, really? That's what messed you up for like a tag team that you're not even really in anymore. You know, that's what was crazy about this. So that's the story behind this match. It was a decent match. Eminem were always really good against the Hardys. Eminem were pretty good as a team in general, but that was a great opener. The next 2 matches were horrifically bad. Obviously, the Hardys got the win. Bobby Lashley against Test for the ECW World Championship. A big deal because the first time the ECW title was defended at a Royal Rumble. But my God, 7 minutes I can never get back.
Not just that, Test looked like he was juicing. Like, he looked ripped.
so here's the sad thing about Test. Test would go to TNA later on in this year. I would actually be there in the crowd for it at the Impact Zone. And he would show for one match and then disappear and then die a couple of years later.
Oh my.
So Test did not have a good run. He probably was. We don't know, but he died in very sad circumstances. Very young as well. So he died. Yeah, he died at 33. So he was very, very young. And yeah, his career. This would be the very, very tail end of his WWE run. He'd end up in TNA, and then in 2009, that would be it. You know.
And those that remember, he was supposed to marry Steph. This is Attitude Era WWE, WWF at the time. And that's when Triple H unveiled that, oh, by the way, you can't marry Stephanie because I already did, Dad. And just that whole weddings on WWE never go as planned. They never do. No. So you think they would stop doing them?
Well, yeah, you think, like anytime there's a wedding,
they never go well. They never go well.
Particularly if there's a table in the ring, it's like someone's gone through that table or whatever, you know. But yeah, no, that was even a bigger deal than the Miss Elizabeth Macho Man wedding, because like
that actually went through.
that went through. Exactly, yeah, because this was just like, this changed the whole thing, and that's how Triple H and Stephanie would actually meet, and then they get married 2 years later, and then blah 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 blah. So, it's really the most impactful storyline WWE have ever really had when you think about it. And poor Test, he just got hung out to dry, and it's sad here because like they were building up Bobby Lashley, who won the title at December to Dismember, and it wasn't a good run. Test wasn't a good challenger, and this match was 7 minutes of pain, and not in a cool way where they were doing cool moves or weapons. Or it was just awful and ended in a count out. So awful match, really, really bad. It
was just disgusting.
But the next match wasn't much better, and I liked Mr. Kennedy. He was in there with Batista for the world title. 10 minutes of the same just boring spot after rest hold, boring spot. Two of them look lost.
Yeah, this match was pretty boring.
Batista would get the win. Mercifully, it'd be over.
Yeah.
But then we'd get on to a match, which, dude, I actually forgot about this match. And look, I'm not a John Cena fan. I booed him for most of his career. Anyone who's listened to anything I've done in WrestleView or anywhere else I've worked, they will know that if I say anything else, I'd be a massive liar and hypocrite. No, I booed John Cena. And with this match, I hated at the time because I was like, oh my God, John Cena wins. Right? But 20 years removed, going back and watching it, him and Umaga put on some match.
I had a friend of mine recently, he had asked me, this is right after the Cena retirement, he's like, who do you think is or was Cena's like most feared opponent that he ever faced? I'm like, it's got to, and even before I watched this, I'm like, it's got to be Umaga because they had such a history that Umaga just wanted to destroy John Cena. And after watching this match, that solidifies that.
But I have a question. Did you remember that he had to choke him? He had to do an STFU twice with the ropes. I remember it being once, but it actually was twice. Did you remember that?
I'd never. This is the first time I'd watched this pay-per-view because this is when I was taking that break. So I'm watching this. Okay, he got him once, and then he stopped, and he went back for seconds. Okay, and this is probably the time they should have done a Cena heel turn. He kind of teetered that line in this match, and that would have been the perfect time to introduce a heel turn for Cena.
But see, he had just been the heel. He was the heel in SmackDown. This was this wasn't Super Cena yet. Super Cena would be pretty much from September on, when he just beat Edge all the time. So we're getting up to that.
I wouldn't consider the Doctor of Thugonomics a heel. It was more of an anti-hero. He was just taught smack to everybody. He didn't care who they were. There was no favorites. You were a good guy or a bad guy. I'm going to cut a rhyme on you, and you're going to get, you're going to get done.
That's a fair point. But this match, if you haven't seen it, folks, definitely worth it. Cena is bloody. They beat the hell out of each other. There are some actually really, really good spots. And then the end of the match where he's choking him with the ring rope, it's like, damn, that's really good. So a really good match. And look, the Rumble. This Rumble's weird, man. This is a weird Rumble. And when I went back and I didn't watch the card before because I kind of wanted to go in a little bit, And then I was like, oh, Taker won this. Yeah, I remember. It's just a weird Rumble because you have those ECW extremists come in and Tommy Dreamer's throwing like weapons in and they're hitting each other with Singapore cane. And you're just like, oh, this is a messy Rumble. Kevin Thorne's in it. Now, Kevin Thorne was my first interview ever. So his story would be he'd be a vampire and then he left and then he was Mordecai. Mordecai was supposed to feud with The Undertaker, but that didn't work out and then he disappeared off into the Indies. Nice guy when I was talking to him, but it just didn't work out. And then like you had like Chris Masters, Ray Kelly. This is the most 2000 Rumble ever. But it was great to see Sabu. He was only in there for like 5 minutes. That sucked. But
and it was Punk's first Rumble too.
It was Punk's first Rumble. Yeah, he was he just debuted in ECW a little bit before that. So but yeah, I love the story that they were telling with Edge and Randy Orton that they were teammates, but there are no teammates in the Rumble. That was cool.
RKO.
Yeah, great RKO. And then obviously setting up that Shawn Michaels couldn't beat the Undertaker, and that would plant the seeds for the epic matches that they'd have in subsequent Rumbles. And Taker would obviously go on and win at that year's WrestleMania as well. So look, a weird Rumble, definitely one that I'd say if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it. The show itself, you can skip the middle part of it almost entirely.
Yeah.
Don't miss Cena and Umaga, and if you haven't seen the opening match, it's worth your time. But there's better pairings with that as well. Anything to finish on that, man? We have 5 minutes left.
On this Rumble, not really. Just again, Taker and Shawn Michaels, pretty much the last remnants, besides Triple H at the time of the Attitude Era that we kind of saw go head to head one again. But of course, we saw them in 2 WrestleManias down the road. But this definitely planted the seeds for that down the road as well.
Absolutely. Real quick before we get out of here, folks, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Nerd to Know Media is the best channel to subscribe to. We upload full shows, but also clips and shorts and stuff like that as well. So, Christopher, we actually have a lot of comments that I want to get through because some people have actually been chiming in, so I wanted to read some of them out. So, our first one is with the heel turn of Cena from their first show together.
Yeah.
This life is a parade. Says I cannot rate this moment any higher than maybe in the top 50 moments I've seen in wrestling in the past 30 years. For the reasons that was already mentioned, it happened way too late.
Agreed. I couldn't agree more.
Totally fair. That's totally fair. We have one on Cody from 8,005 mark. He's mid. Which is fair. And then a bunch of comments on Jade Cargill. So I'll read some of my favorite ones, right? So this is from Monte7387. Because she hasn't had a match since winning. Flaps like a badass, yet doesn't back it in the ring. She's boring. That's fair.
Yeah.
I said all. I said all. Delirious 8 says, to answer the question, Jade is suffering from a case of fans wanting more. They want her to be more than how she's presented. She is over, but she was over with Bianca. But then when it started out in singles, fans just wanted to be more, and they say she can't wrestle. She can wrestle. The issue is that Jade presents herself as an image that she is, and WWE is protective of. That's a fair point.
They're protecting her, it seems.
They're protecting her. Yeah, that's a fair point. The Chosen 481 says, I loved her and admired her in AEW, but WWE sucks at creative stories. I don't disagree on that. He says it looks Tony Khan knows how to create great wrestlers. Fair. He knows how to create wrestlers who are already kind of there, but she hit her ceiling in AEW and now she's hit her ceiling in WWE. I think they are protecting her, and she does need to defend the title. Anthony Pittman said that, and that's totally fair. How do you fix this?
And her fan base is very biased. Like they're like, if you don't like Jade, well, you are just this and this. I'm like, I'm being real. And she had a match with Chelsea Green that lasted 3 minutes.
But here's
Chelsea
the thing.
Green,
I mean,
I'm sorry, it should have been longer than that.
But here's the thing. Like a lot of these comments, and like this short did a lot. It got a lot of views and an awful lot of comments. I think it's one of the most comments we've ever got. And it seems to be there is that temperature where a lot of people are like, it's not working for her. But either they blame creative or they blame her. And then there is the other side where they defend her no matter what. Now, I don't think she can't wrestle. That's unfair. We've seen her wrestle in AEW. We've seen her wrestle in WWE. But if she's not on TV and she's not backing up her persona of being a badass, it's not going to work. So actually, Harlan Burke 8501 said this, and this I think sums it up, and I'll leave it at this. Jade gives me warrior vibes. Look and charisma, zero talent.
Damn. Wow, that is all she's missing is the warrior paint.
Yeah,
and
but I think
running the ring and being gassed when she gets there. That's all she's missing.
Yeah, and I think that's spot on. So look, fair play. Thanks to everyone who gave us those comments, guys. We really do appreciate it. Comment. We will read them out. Yeah, but I think that just sums it all up. You know, she's the modern day incarnation of the Ultimate Warrior. It's wild, but that makes.
I think though too, if she wants to be, more involved, it's not just on creative. You need to also, as a talent, vocalize what you want to do. All they can do is say no. And CM Punk has had the belt less time than Jade has had it, but yet he's had almost triple the defenses.
And
they
they're all
both
banger
feature
defenses.
AEW. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
what's the difference here?
Absolutely. Well, look, we're going to have to leave it there, sir. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Sure. With the Rumble coming up this weekend, of course, this will drop after, but you can see the review and reactions of the Rumble on my podcast, the Jazz Zodiac Podcast. Just Google search us. You'll find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and the video portion will be on YouTube as well. I'm hoping the Rumble is fantastic this year.
Absolutely, man. And we will leave those links under this show as well. If this is your first time, do check us out. Please like, share, subscribe. We're on Spotify. Best way to reach us is nerdtoknowmedia.com, thewrestlingrewind.com. We will be back here on Phoenix 92.5 FM next week. For the whole team, see you next week.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.